You know that stretch of land you pass every day without really seeing it? That forgotten piece of earth where weeds grow tall and dreams used to live? Someone looked at that exact place and saw everything you didn't. They saw possibility where you saw emptiness. For years, barndominiums have been the practical choice, the sensible one. Steel and concrete, wide open spaces, maybe some exposed beams if you're feeling fancy. They're rugged. They're industrial. They get the job done. But here's what they're not. They're not vulnerable. They don't reveal anything. They keep secrets behind garage doors that roll down like curtains at the end of a show nobody got to watch. And then someone asked a question that changed everything. What if we didn't hide the garage? What if, instead of tucking away our passions behind metal and shadows, we put them on display? What if the things we love most, the vintage motorcycle, the half-restored Mustang, the workshop where magic happens at 2 in the morning, what if all of that became the architecture itself? This isn't about storage. It's never been about storage. It's about transparency. Literally. Floor-to-ceiling glass where walls used to stand. Light flooding in where darkness used to live. Your life, your passions, your weekend obsessions, no longer hidden, no longer apologized for, but celebrated, showcased. Because somewhere along the way, we decided that garages should be dark, closed-off places. Utility spaces. Somewhere to park and forget. But what if your garage could be a gallery? What if coming home meant walking into a space that said, "This is who I am. This is what I love. And I'm not hiding anymore." That's where this story really begins. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button because it's a simple way to show your love for these incredible designs. Picture this. Where cold metal walls once stood, there's now nothing but glass. Pure, uninterrupted glass reaching from floor to ceiling, turning what used to be a garage into something else entirely. A gallery, a statement, a confession in architecture form. Your vintage car isn't just parked anymore, it's displayed. That motorcycle you've been restoring for 3 years? It's art now. The workbench covered in tools, each one placed just so. It's not clutter. It's a collection. Your collection. And everyone can see it. Here's where it gets beautiful, though. The contrast. Those rough-hewn wooden beams, weathered and honest, meeting the pristine clarity of modern glass. Industrial grit shaking hands with elegant transparency. It shouldn't work. On paper, it's chaos. But in reality, it's poetry. Because here's what this really means. Your passion doesn't have to live in the dark anymore. Think about how the morning light pours through those glass walls, catching chrome and steel, making everything glow like it's under a spotlight. Think about your neighbors slowing down as they drive past, not because they're judging, but because they can't help but look. They're captivated, curious, maybe even a little inspired. And yes, there's vulnerability in that. This design doesn't let you hide. It says, here's who I am. Here's what I love. Here's what I do when nobody's watching. Except now, you're all invited to watch. It's terrifying and liberating at the same time. Most of us spend our whole lives keeping our passions behind closed doors, literally and figuratively. We compartmentalize. We keep things separate. But a glass garage barndominium? It refuses to play that game. It insists that the things you love deserve to be seen, to be celebrated, to take up space unapologetically. And maybe that's exactly what you've been waiting for. We share new content regularly to help you create spaces you love, so don't forget to subscribe. Step inside, and you'll understand why this isn't just a house. It's a different way of living entirely. Exposed ductwork runs overhead like industrial veins. Ceilings soar so high your voice echoes just a little. Everything flows. The kitchen bleeds into the living room, which opens completely into that glass garage. There are no hard stops here. No walls saying, this is where cooking ends and life begins. It's all one breathing, connected space. And here's the thing. You're standing at your kitchen island, chopping vegetables for dinner, But your eyes? They're on that 67 Camaro sitting 20 feet away under perfect lighting. Your living room couch faces your workshop. Not a TV. Your workshop. Because why wouldn't it? When night falls, that's when the real magic happens. Interior lights turn your glass garage into a glowing showcase, like a museum that never closes. From the outside, it's mesmerizing. From the inside, it's home. Those retractable glass doors, they're not just functional, they're transformative. Press a button and the barrier between inside and outside simply disappears. Suddenly you're working on an engine rebuild with fresh air on your face, or hosting friends who drift seamlessly between your kitchen and your tools, drinks in hand, conversation flowing like the space itself. Picture Sunday morning. Coffee in one hand, wrench in the other. Blues playing softly in the background. You're not hiding in a cold garage while your family's inside. You're all together. Your kids doing homework at the kitchen table, asking questions about the carburetor you're rebuilding. Your partner's reading on the couch, occasionally looking up to watch you work. This is the twist nobody tells you about. When your hobby becomes your architecture, it stops being a hobby. It becomes your life, integrated and celebrated. Not compartmentalized. Not separate. Just you. Finally, completely, unapologetically you. But let's be honest for a minute. Because this dream, it comes with complications nobody wants to talk about. Privacy. That's the first thing people whisper about. You want everyone to see inside your garage. Your whole life on display. And yeah, that's valid. But here's the beautiful part. Strategic frosting on certain panels, smart glass that goes opaque with a switch. You control what the world sees and when. Transparency doesn't have to mean vulnerability on demand. Then there's weather. Glass and hailstorms have very strong opinions about each other, and neither one's backing down. Impact-resistant glazing exists for a reason. Laminated glass. Proper engineering. It's not cheap, but neither is replacing your collection after a storm tears through standard doors. Speaking of cost, yes, this investment is real. Floor-to-ceiling glass systems cost significantly more than rolling up a metal door and calling it a day. But here's what you're actually buying. You're buying the feeling of waking up every single day in a space that reflects who you are. You can't put a price tag on that. Well, you can. And it's higher. But it's worth it. Heating and cooling? That's the practical headache everyone faces. Glass conducts temperature like it's got a personal vendetta. But modern HVAC solutions, radiant floor heating, properly rated glass with low-E coatings. These aren't just buzzwords. They're answers. And then come the building codes. The permits. The contractor who looks at your plans like you've lost your mind and says, "Nobody builds like this around here." Yeah, nobody does. That's kind of the point. Here's the thing about obstacles. Every single one has a solution when your vision is strong enough. When you know, deep in your bones, that this is how you're meant to live. The complications don't disappear. They just become part of the story. Your story. And isn't that worth fighting for? Remember that abandoned farmland we started with? That forgotten stretch of earth nobody looked at twice? Look at it now. Dusk settles in, and the lights come on. The glass walls glow like amber. Inside, that garage showcase comes alive. Chrome catching light. Tools arranged like they belong in a museum. Every piece of your collection exactly where it should be. It's not just a building anymore. It's a beacon. And here's what nobody prepares you for. This isn't about design trends or architectural awards. This is about living authentically. Actually, genuinely living as yourself. Something shifts when you stop hiding your passions. When you take the things you love, the things you used to apologize for spending too much time on, and you make them central to your daily existence. You walk taller. You breathe deeper. You stop making excuses for who you are. Those neighbors who questioned everything, the ones who couldn't understand why you'd spend that much on glass, they slow down now when they drive past. Not to judge, to admire, to wonder. Some of them even knock on your door, asking questions, sharing their own hidden dreams. Your kids grow up watching you work on restorations while dinner simmers on the stove. They see creativity and craftsmanship not as something dad does in a dark garage on weekends, but as daily life, as normal.